Reducing slippage when trading in and out of option positions is one of the ways you can tell a real solid trader from a so-so trader. Let's talk about closing in the money options and trying to reduce slippage when you do so. Okay. First, let's talk about why you might have an in the money option to begin with. Well, you might start off. Let's say if you're doing a poor man's covered call, a stock replacement strategy where you buy a back month in the money option to get some deltas and sell a front month option against it. But really what I'm talking about is maybe I sell a put. I'm bullish on the stock and I sell a put, but stock goes down instead and goes right through my short put strike, and now I have an in the money option. And maybe I want to close it out. Maybe I don't think the stock is going to rally back. Maybe I want to use the capital somewhere else, but I want to close that option. Maybe I have a put spread. Okay. Maybe I sold a put vertical. And the stock went through both strikes. Okay. But then close to expiration, I said, okay, I'm down at my max loss. I'm going to let it go. But then close to expiration, the stock rallies back and is now in between the long and short strikes. And my long strike, the lower strike put is basically worthless, but the higher strike put, my short put, is in the money. And I don't want to be assigned on it and end up with long stock. Alternatively, maybe I'm speculating and I bought a put. Okay, and the stock's down. Yay, okay. And I want to sell that put. Why is this such a big deal? Part of the problem with in the money options is that their markets, the bid-ask spreads, tend to widen out. Okay. Now, that's not the case in some of the most liquid products, like SPY, for example. But in a lot of stocks, especially higher priced stocks, that are, maybe trading $200, $300, $400, $500, the in the money options the markets on those things can get pretty wide. Why? Well, it depends. When the stock is expensive and volatile, when a market maker has to, make a market for an in the money option, those are high delta options. He's going to want to hedge that immediately. If he's not sure about what price he can get for the stock, widens out those bid-ask spreads. It's protection for the market maker. But it makes your job tougher because this is where you start to pay more slippage, or the price you sell below fair value or the price you pay above fair value for an option. And that slippage adds up over time. Is it going to make or break a trade? Is it going to turn a winning year or trade into a losing trade? Probably not, but it does add up over time, and it's money that you don't want to just give away. Or more to the point, if you do have to execute and give up a little more slippage than you want to, you have a reason you had to do it, and it wasn't just I just traded out of the stupid thing. Okay, so let's go into some details about what I'm going to talk about today. So an in the money options price is simply the intrinsic value plus the extrinsic value. I'm not getting into theoretical values. I don't want to talk about that today. It's just the intrinsic value plus extrinsic value. The extrinsic value of an out of the money option is theoretically very close to the extrinsic of the in the money option at the same strike price. Meaning, if I have if the stock is trading at $200 and I'm looking at the 230 put, theoretically the extrinsic value of the 230 call is the same extrinsic value as the 230 put. Yes, they can be a little bit different because of cost of carry, dividends, things like that. But for the sake of this argument, I'm going to treat them as the same. This is particularly true when you get very close to expiration, like 0 days to expiration, when the cost of carry, the impact is very small. So understanding that the two things are very similar, the extrinsic value for the out of the money call and the in the money put at the same strike price are almost the same. That's good. That's something you want to have working knowledge of. Let's go in, and before we get to an actual example, let's go to this final slide here. When you're closing it in the money option, when you're buying it back, if you're short, okay, you don't want to pay much above intrinsic value, or particularly the intrinsic value of the put plus the extrinsic value of the out of the money call. Okay, and we're just using puts for this example, but it works the same within the money calls. If I'm closing a trade, if I'm long the option, I want to sell it. I do not want to sell below intrinsic value. And ideally, I would sell at intrinsic plus the extrinsic of the out of the money option. And we're going to look at how to, using synthetics, to take the risk off without actually closing the trade. Let's go take a look at some specific options here. This is Google, and with 0 DTE Google options, and I'm choosing the 0 DTEs partly because it makes the numbers very clear. Okay, the extrinsic value of the out of the money calls is basically 0, so it illustrates this point very, very well. The second point is, in the money options, whether they're long or short, will be automatically exercised/assigned at expiration if you don't close them out. Okay. Now, with American style options, yes, you could be assigned on a short in the money option at any time. But at expiration, if it's not already assigned, if you still have an open in the money option, let's say an in the money put, if you're along that put, and it's expiration and it's 3 o'clock and you didn't close it and the put's in the money, that put will turn into short stock. That long put will turn into short stock the next day. You'll see that in your account on Monday or over the weekend at some point. If you're short a put, what happens? At expiration, if it's in the money, it will turn into long stock. Okay? And you'll have long stock in your account on Monday morning. Maybe that's okay with you. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's too much capital. Maybe it requires too much capital, creates a margin call, and you have to bail out of the position. You're also taking risk over the weekend with that trade. You may not want to do that. So if you don't want to carry this risk, this is why you want to trade out of this stuff. This is about reducing slippage. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't close out the trade. That's not the point. What I am saying is, if you're executing this trade, here are some of the numbers you want to look at. Okay, let's take an example of being short a put. Let's go into the short. Let's go to the 310 puts here in Google. Stock's trading at 298. They are $11.75 in the money. Okay, what does this mean? All this is this 1175, and I have this loaded up very conveniently. I have intrinsic value, extrinsic value, and mid-price loaded up on the platform. The intrinsic value is simply 310 minus 298.27. Actually, it's the average of the bid-ask. So it's going to be of 298.25. Okay, so that's 1175. That is the intrinsic value of the option. If I am short this put, the 310 put, and I want to buy it back, the best I can do probably is 1175. I may try to get 1170. I may put a bid in for 1170, but the market makers probably aren't going to give that to me. In other words, they're not going to sell that option for if I'm buying it, they're selling it. They're not going to sell it below intrinsic. That's giving away money. Okay. Here, I would not, but I want you to think about it like this. Intrinsic is 1175, okay? The extrinsic value of that option, it has 2 cents of extrinsic value in it, or basically there's 1 cent, 1 penny in the call. It's basically a worthless call at this point. If I pay $12.65, if I just lift the offer, okay, I'm giving 90 cents of slippage to the market maker. What's the market maker going to do? Okay, he's short that put. I buy it from him. He's short it. He immediately sells the stock down here, and basically and buys the call, buys the 310 call for a penny, and locks in about 90 cents of profit off of you. You don't want to do that, okay? Don't be a trader who just bails out and says, oh, I just have to pay $12.65. What price would I be willing to pay for this? Well, if $11.75 is intrinsic, I might put an order in, I might put a bid in for $11.75, see if somebody bites. They probably won't. Maybe not, okay? But what I'm going to look at is $11.75 plus, let's say, a penny of extrinsic value. Now, if I can't trade, if they're trading in nickels, you know, and a lot of these in the monies are not, you know, maybe you can trade at pennies. I might try to get filled at $11.75 or $11.77. Okay. If I can't get filled there, I might take it up to $11.80 and pay 5 cents over intrinsic. I don't want to do that. That's giving up 5 cents to the market, or more properly about 3 to 4 cents. Not the end of the world. And I have to be willing to, I have to know that that's what I'm giving up before I do that. But if you're looking to bail out on a trade, if you need to close the position, okay, maybe $12.80. Ideally, maybe a little less than $12.80. You got to fight for those pennies. I do not want to pay $12.90 or, you know, $11.90 for this. I don't want to pay $12 for this. That's paying way too much money. I did a video talking about option risk equivalence, and this is where that knowledge comes in handy. If I cannot get filled on buying that short put back, and I don't want to carry the risk, what am I going to do? I can close it with a synthetic long put. What is that? Okay, I'm short that 310 put. What I'll do is I'll short the stock and I'll buy that 310 call for a penny. That's buying the 310 put basically for intrinsic value plus a penny. Okay, now there are commissions involved. I get that. You know, you don't quite know what you're going to get for the stock when you sell it. But basically, what will happen at expiration is the 310 call will expire worthless. Your 310 put will be assigned stock. You will buy stock through the assignment. That'll close out the short stock that you put on doing the synthetic. Now, that is a capital intensive trade. Okay. This is why it helps to have enough money behind you, you know, in other words, a big enough account size to be able to manage this stuff and fight for that slippage. So that is one way of exiting the trade. However, if you don't have the capital and you just want to buy it back, work off of $11.75 and try not to pay more than that. Now let's flip it around. Let's say I'm long that option. Okay? Let's say I'm long the 310 put for whatever reason, and I want to sell it, and I want to close that position out. Because if I don't, and it's in the money at expiration, I'm going to end up with short stock. The long put will turn into short stock. I don't want that, so I'm going to sell the put. What price am I going to get? I do not want to sell it for less than $11.75. If I do, that is giving money to the market maker. If I sell this for $11.70, if I sell it for $11.60, oh no, I put it at $11.75, they're not biting. Should I take it down to $11.50, $11.40? No. Okay, that's giving money up to the market maker. What's the market maker going to do? Okay, market maker, you're selling the put. The market maker is buying the put. What he does is he immediately buys the stock down here. He bought it for less than intrinsic value, the put. He buys the stock at the current price, immediately exercises the put, sells it at the strike price, and captures the difference between the intrinsic value and what you sold it for. So if intrinsic value is $11.75, you sell it at $11.60, he makes $15. Like that. Thank you very much. That's why he's driving the Ferraris and you're not. Okay, no, not quite. But if you do that a few hundred times a day, thousands of times a year, yeah, market makers can make some money off of mistakes like this. Okay, you don't want to play that. You don't want to play the game like that. You want to play clean trading. Keep your slippage low. What price would I try to get for this? Well, if 11.75 is my low price and there's about a penny of intrinsic value in that, yeah, I mean, I can try at 11.80. See if somebody will buy it from me for 11.80. Okay, in which case that would be a great fill. Okay, somewhere in between 10.90 and 12.65, I'm going to start. I'll offer it at 11.80 to start. If nobody bites, I'll take it down to 11.75. If nobody bites, maybe I take it down to 11.70. Maybe I give up a nickel. $5. I don't want to do that. But if I just want to close the position and I don't want to do the synthetic, which we'll talk about next, that's what I'll do. I have to give up a penny to get out of it. Okay. Now, if you have the capital, what is the synthetic equivalent? Instead of selling the put for less than intrinsic value, which I do not want to do, what do? I will buy the stock at whatever the low, at 298.25. Basically lock in that intrinsic value, and I will sell that out of the money call, sell the 310 call. Now, maybe I won't even do that because I can't get anything for it. Okay. But basically what I've done is, if it's expiration, like 0 DTEs, like it is here, as the stock price moves up and down, the value of that put, the intrinsic value of that put, will move tick for tick with the stock. Okay, so I don't have a lot of delta risk in that trade. Yes, if the stock bounces up $15 in the last minutes of the day, yeah, okay, I'm short the stock and my put stop, or I'm long the stock and I stop losing on the long put. Okay, fine. But my point is, if I can buy the stock for that low price, basically I've locked in that intrinsic value. If I cannot close that put for a reasonable price being not too much lower than, in this case, 11.75 for these 310 puts. You can go up and down the strike price. Like I said, this works the same as calls. Same for calls. In the money calls, the out of the money options are basically worth 0. Don't be misled by these extrinsic values for the in the money options. The reason is that the bid and ask spreads are so wide, and the intrinsic value is just the difference between the strike and the stock price, that the mid price, the average of the bid and ask price of the option, is used to calculate how much extrinsic value it is. So what it's doing is taking this mid price, subtracting off the intrinsic value based on the strike price and the stock price, and the remainder is the extrinsic value. Is there really 30 cents of extrinsic value in these puts? Probably not. Not with the calls trading at a penny or 2 cents, or the puts, trading at a penny or 2 cents. Probably not. So, but use this as the base. So whether you're closing a short put or a long put, use that intrinsic value as your benchmark. If you're buying the option back, try not to pay much more than intrinsic plus the extrinsic of the out of the money option. Try not to. If you are selling that option, if you want to close it, but try not to sell below intrinsic. And I'm talking about 0 DTEs, but that is especially true if these options have any time left. 30 days, 45 days, whatever. If you're rolling options at 21 days, don't sell those in the money options below intrinsic, please. Okay, none of this is a trade recommendation. Please, when you're managing positions like this, keep your risk in mind, and if you need help, call your broker.